It never hurts to refresh your memory on some of the basics of DNS. Before we actually jump into Azure options, we're going to just recall what types of records you can create in DNS and what they can do. That way you understand, of course, making sure that we're all on the same page, but also understanding how name resolution works and what it is that we're going to be resolving. Now, yes, I do have the Azure portal brought up here on the screen. And no, you're not supposed to understand what it is that you see right now. What I'm really trying to show you is when I try to create a new DNS record, what we're really reviewing are the types that we have here. The whole point of DNS at the end of the day is to have a human-readable name and convert it into some sort of IP address. That way, we allow the network to take it from there and route my traffic to the name that it was that I was trying to reach. Now, DNS does this in a few different ways, depending on what is the thing that you're trying to reach. Of course, we have the classic A record. That is our IP version 4 lookups. If I have some type of name like name.knox.com and I look it up and I want an IPv4 address back, I'm going to submit a request to look up an A record. Likewise, whenever I want to resolve a name to the IPv4 address because I own it, then I'm going to create an A record right here. The quad A, right underneath it, is the IPv6 version of it. IPv6 is growing incredibly popular these days, thanks to the advent of mobile technologies. Now here's one that I bet several of our viewers have never seen before, the CAA. This is specifically to resolve a certificate authority. Importantly, it's not usually just enough to create a CAA. The applications that also need to look up the IP address of the CAA also need to know how to submit a request for a CAA lookup. Still, that can be very powerful if you're the one creating the application and performing the CA lookup at the same time. CNAME, probably the next most popular underneath the A and the quad A. This is basically a redirection or an alias. I can take one name like mail.knox.com and have it also redirect to email.knox.com, which then returns something like the A record. Speaking of mail, specifically for mail servers, email servers, they use MX records. This will be really important if you're ever trying to set up something like Office 365 to be your email host or something like the G Suite from Google Cloud. Name servers. Who is the actual DNS server that is used to own and control this domain? Specifically, if you want to go to the source and find out exactly what the true IP is directly from the domain server that owns the domain, this is what the name server does. Service records. Right here is if I'm trying to look up some other service, where can I go to find that? You find this a lot in Active Directory domain services, like looking up the LDAP service. You can also look up something like the SQL service. So if you're trying to discover a service within a particular subnet or a particular network, you might look up the service by the service record, just based on the name of the service, and it'll return to you the name of the server that is currently running that service. Next up is the text record. This, in my opinion, is really just arbitrary text that can be looked up and used more or less as a form of validation. Where I've seen this the most is proving that you own a domain. Some type of authority who maybe is trying to issue you a certificate will say, go create a text record in your domain with this particular text. We'll validate that it shows up, proving that you own it. And then lastly is the pointer record. The fancy way of saying what the pointer record is it's a reverse A record. Instead of taking a name and pointing it to an IP, the pointer record takes an IP and points it to a name. These are the DNS records that you need to know if you're going to be working with DNS. Now again, this was just a refresher. You may or may not see questions like this on the AZ-700. In my opinion, it would be better to not dwell on this list so much, but more understand what are the things that you can do within Azure and designing how DNS is going to work. And in the next video, we'll talk a lot more about that. For now, this has just been refreshing ourselves on what DNS records do. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.